grab a crochet hook, grab a skein of yarn, and get ready for battle. For June, I'm going to be participating in Battle of the Stitches. This is a series created by Heather at Strings and Threads Crochet channel and Teresa at Crochet Critters channel. I'll put their links in the description below. And what they do is they're working through a book called 200 Crochet Stitches, and every month they have a stitch, and the people who are participating create something based on that stitch. Well, this month they changed up how they can let people participate. There's going to be 2 actual main competitors, and then anybody who wants to make a video about the stitch can also participate. So that's where we come in here. I'm going to be doing a participation version, not an actual competitor, just to see if I could do it, challenge myself to do it, and maybe inspire you to do it as well. So the first thing to do is to talk about the stitch itself. That's week 1. Week 2, I will show you a sneak peek of what I'm creating. And week 3, we will do a tutorial on the stitch, what I came up with. So let's get started, all right? So this, for June, the stitch is called the double crunch. I had never heard of this stitch before, so when Heather sent it to me, I looked it up. I had to go see if I could find a tutorial on it. She has a much better tutorial on it on her website, which also will link in the description below, because I think her version is probably going to be a whole lot better than mine. So I have worked it just to see, before I did this tutorial, just to see if I could do it, not to make an idiot of myself. I did it with 2 different yarns. This is a cheap worsted weight yarn. It feels like it's probably Red Heart. I don't know. I found this at work. And we have, we do crafts at work, so I found that at work, and I did a stitch of it, or I did a swatch of it here. It was a little bit hard to see, so I thought, well, I'll make it with something else so that you can maybe see the stitch definition a little bit better. So I found some cotton yarn that I had left over from a cat kicker that I made, and you can see it a little bit better here. It's still very difficult to see, but what you do, and it makes kind of a textured thing when you make it. So what I was reading about it, it said it was really good for dishcloths, placemats, things like that. So I thought cotton yarn probably would work better for it. So I'm going to show the demo with cotton yarn. So it also is that you're supposed to do odd numbers. I read two different things. Odd numbers, and then I read multiples of 3. So I'm not sure, because you can have an odd number and it not be a multiple of 3, and as a non-math person, I even know that. So I'm going to still stick with multiples of 3. Just for this demonstration, I am using a 5.4 millimeter hook with my, this is just Lily, this is Lily brand Peaches and Cream. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6, and let's go with 9, 7, 8, 9. Now for the foundation row, you can see that the foundation row, you chain, and then you skip to the 4th chain from the row and double crochet as your foundation row. For foundation rows, I like to do the back loop method. It's just what I like, how I like to do foundation rows. So that's what I'm going to do. 4th chain from the hook, you put you do your foundation. That'll count as a double crochet. So that's your first, pretty simple. You do that as your foundation row, and that's also, okay, so once you get your foundation row, then you have to flip. Now it's important in this stitch, you have to flip, so you're working back and forth. I don't know how this one would do in the round, but you have to flip. So the next row, you do a slip stitch in the first row, or in the first stitch. So you do a slip stitch, and then you do a half or a full double, you do a double crochet. So then you do a slip stitch, a double crochet, and then you should end with a double, or you should end with a slip stitch. So that's round 2. So you end with a slip stitch. So that's you should have. So then the next row is you chain 3, which will count as your double crochet. So you chain 3, turn, and then you double crochet across the thing, but you skip that first slip stitch. So that one right there, you would skip that, and you double crochet across the whole thing. So you double crochet into the double crochets and into the slip stitches. So you go across your entire piece that you're working on. So you will have the same number, you should have the same number that you started with. So I had 6, so I should have 6 I should have 6 double crochets when I make it back around, or back to the end. Those slip stitches are hard to get into. So then I'll end with 5, and then that was my first double crochet, so I will have 6. Okay, so those are your row 2 and row 3. You just keep repeating those until you're done with whatever you're making. So then for at this point 4, you will then slip stitch into the first row, slip stitch. Second stitch will be a full double crochet, a double crochet, a slip stitch, another double crochet, so if you don't end with a slip stitch, then you're obviously you're off, because you should always end with a slip stitch. So for this demo, I was using a bigger hook, and so you could see the actual texture. If you make it something that's more yarn size appropriate, you can start to see the ridges right here that it will make. So it's that combination of the tall, and it makes the tall stitch, and then the small stitch, and then the tall stitch. So you're making like you're making this like little weird pattern, or no, it's not weird, but this little pattern right here. So that's basically it. Like I said, Heather, one of the creators of this challenge, has a much better video. I will link it in the description, so if you want to see her version. So now, if you are interested in what I'm going to be making, be sure to come back next Wednesday. So hit the subscribe button so you'll know, if you don't remember, to come back on Wednesday to see a sneak peek of what I have been working on using this stitch.